So this is the last video for this week. I will see if I will make some more videos after this. We'll see, probably, we'll see. Yeah, so why I was wanting to make this video was, so we're actually, I think I said this maybe, but we're going to Japan this summer. Oh, so exciting. My family, we're gonna be traveling the Japanese country. I'm gonna travel different cities and gonna climb Mount Fuji because we really like hiking. We're preparing for that. So yeah, just to kind of experience another culture, and we've always wanted to go, so we're finally going. So because of that, we've been watching a lot of anime, and I also love anime. Clearly, if you watch my channel, you know that. And if some of my friends also watch this channel, so obviously they know that too. And I have so many anime people in the chat and that I'm friends with, so you know. And so we were watching some anime just to kind of get into the Japanese world and kind of to learn. So we're watching it subbed, just so we can learn the culture a little bit more and the language itself. And so one of my favorite animes, that's a film, and kind of I've been noticing, especially on my YouTube, that's really popular, is called A Silent Voice. And this, I don't know, I think most of you guys, if you're into anime, have watched this film, but if not, so this film is very, very, I would say, for a film, it's very intense, and especially the way that it opens up, but it has such a great message, and I just think everyone should watch it. Even if you're not an anime fan, you should at least watch it, because as a film on its own, oh, chef's kiss. Just the direction to it, the imagery, and the way that message is being portrayed through imagery. Oh, I feel like, especially if you're related to film like I am, and also just in general watch a lot of films, you can just appreciate all the little details and all the little foreshadowings that are in this film. Oh, it's so good, so good. But yeah, so this film, for anyone who doesn't know, sorry, someone texted me, for this film, so basically, I can't say it on YouTube because YouTube has kind of a weird policy now because of the COPPA rule. If you guys don't know what the COPPA rule is, it's basically in the beginning of 2020, they made a rule because tons of underage, 13 and under, have been watching a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of videos that are not family friendly. So I can't say this word because I might get age restricted, which I feel like most of my videos are pretty dark and definitely not made for children. Children can watch it, but it's definitely not targeted specifically to children, not all my videos, but still, I just want to be careful. But it talks a lot about unaliving yourself, which in general is such a difficult topic to talk about on the internet, through art, just anything, just to know that someone doesn't exist because they just feel so insecure and so just wretched of themselves. That's just, I don't know, I feel like anyone can agree that is just the worst way to go, and also it's just so sad that someone can think of them in that way. And I feel like unaliving yourself is such a loose term now. A lot, suicide rates have been going off the roofs for sure, but this film definitely shows kind of people who have that type of mentality, which I'm so sorry for anyone who's gone through that, but who has that type of mentality. And also just shows what anxiety looks like in an artistic format, what anxiety is and how people with it, me including, just kind of I have to deal with it every day. So yeah, so it talks a lot about that. Like that's definitely the main thing, is unaliving yourself. Definitely anxiety, and also I think one of the main things that I really took from is, so the main character, which is interesting, and anime does this a lot. They really like redemption arcs, which is great, and it definitely makes the story much more interesting. But the main character, so the whole story, for anyone who's not watched it, for the main character, he was he had a girl come to his class that was deaf, which that's also been talked a lot about too. But also, like, this film in general, and this is one of the few films, in my opinion, that shows deaf people, and shows unaliving, and shows all those like very normal but still very like intense issues in such a natural and such a beautiful way. And I think that's another reason why this film is just so well received too, and why it's one of my favorites, truly. And so there's this deaf girl that comes to his class, and this is also the first deaf girl that they ever have in the class, and so no one really knows how to, no one knows how to react to it, because everyone is pretty immature, because they're all elementary children and they've never, experienced that. And so because of that, they decide to bully her because she's different and she's not like everyone else. And she's also like so sweet, and so they don't like that she's just this so nice person, and that she doesn't like break down every time they bully her, which is so messed up. But yeah, that's how some people's sets are, for sure. So yeah, so that's kind of like the main plot, or that's kind of how we get introduced into character. And so that's not how the film starts, but that's kind of basically, this whole film is just kind of like, at least the intro, if you watch a lot of anime, this is kind of what animes like to do, is that they show the character, and then they show their backstory, and then they go back to present day, and then continue and have some type of like lesson, and then that's how the film resolves. That's kind of how most animes are, and this definitely kind of goes with that format, which is not a bad format, but it's definitely a very like anime type of format, for sure. I eat it up every time, so it's fine for me. It's so interesting, in my opinion. So that's kind of the which this film does kind of time jump a lot too, so that's why bear with me when I'm trying to like piece everything together. But yeah, and so that's kind of the main plot, is that he's this bully, and he just like is not very mature, and he doesn't understand that his actions are affecting this very nice, very sweet girl who literally just is deaf, and she can't do anything about it. She does have hearing aids, so she can hear them, and she does talk some throughout the film, so she can speak, but obviously she's deaf, and it's still new for her, and it's still something she needs to like practice. It's like learning any other language, or learning any other type of communication or tool or anything. You're able to do it, but it's not as confidently as what you were originally doing, or what you were born with, type of thing. So that's her. So they're just bullying, and it's really not great. And after a while, she and her parents decide that they need to switch schools, because this is getting too toxic, and clearly she's not wanted in this school, and it's just better to just not deal with it, or at least better to just be in a place where it's more accommodating and more positivity, which is very fair. Understandable, truly. And for anyone who's bullied too, which this film does and a lot of animes especially, but this film especially loves talking about bullying. So if anyone's getting bullied, I know a couple of my friends have, or anything like racist or derogatory, I'm so sorry, but like that is just human nature, sadly. So yeah, so that's also talked about a lot. And this film too is super relatable in the fact that it just has so many issues, but it still can be resolved. And I think that's the main key thing that everyone, in my opinion, everyone should get from this film, is that truly just being able to understand and being compassionate to each other and being able to actually listen. And with this character, he finally gets to that point, and applause. Yeah. So because of that, she finally gets out of his life, and then the tables turn on him, and then so they all thought she was the villain, and now he becomes the villain, which is funny because the people that vilified him are supposedly his friends, who are also the ones that bullied and like supported the bullying. So it's very interesting how like completely like 180 the tables have turned whenever she left. And because of that, he was just like, wow, what is wrong with me? Like, how would I ever act to someone like that? And so he wanted to unalive himself, and he became very insecure, very anxious, which is like, you should never bully anyone. I'm gonna side note for a second. You should never bully anyone, especially for something that they were born with and something that can't change. Like, clearly she's wanting to talk, she's wanting to verbalize more of her, communication style, and that's great. We applaud to that. So like, that's why I really like her character, at least, is that she actually wants to learn and grow. But the only thing is, because everyone is just so horrible to her, she also feels, she also wants to unalive herself too. So it's like, she is a very healthy character. It's just because of outside sources, she feels like she's not enough either. So it's interesting. It's like the main character, the bully, wants to unalive himself, and then the girl who got bullied also wants to unalive herself. Everyone wants to unalive themselves. It's so sad. Yeah, but we'll get more into that later in the video. But yeah, so that's another side note, another plot to it. Yeah, and so that's how the film actually starts, is that he makes, which I know most people, or not most people, I know a lot of people who unalive themselves, they kind of have this like schedule, I guess you could put it that way, where all the things they want to do, and then like make letters and then do it. I know that's like a common thing when that happens, which is really sad, but it's definitely not unrealistic, basically. And yeah, but then he catches himself, but then he wants to do it again, and then his mom stops him, and he also made letters about it. But his mom was like, don't do it, like, I will burn these letters, like, please don't do it, like, you're still my son, I love you. And so that's another thing about this film too, is that yes, you should definitely be a good person, and you should definitely be able to, you should be a good person, like, you should want to have morals and just be nice in general, but you shouldn't feel so horrible about yourself because of what you did in the past. Your past shouldn't bind you where you cannot grow. Like, you should still be confident and grow and want to learn, but not feel like you're a burden. And this film really, really shows that. And it's like, this character, he's not necessarily bad. And I like, actually, by the way, side note, I like that a lot of films nowadays, especially like animated cartoon don't have an actual villain, like kind of has more of a gray character. It's not even like anti-hero either. It's just a person. You know, like it's not like a black or white or anti-hero, whatever you want to characterize that definition. It's just a person just did something stupid and now they're learning from it. And I love that. I think we should advocate that in more films personally. Like I love to see a very just great type of cast, great type of characters, because it shows that, yeah, like they were not correct in their ways, but at least they want to learn from it. And this character really shows that. Even though he went to another extreme because of it, it still shows that he's still compassionate and that he cares, you know. And that's really nice to see, especially in a film that's this deep and this dark and this just intricate. So, and then he learns, he sees her again. She's back in their high school, and he learns sign language. And so then he starts communicating with her. She actually starts liking him. And yeah, and everything's really cute for a while. And also, I wanted to mention, there are X's on people's faces in this film. And oh my god, that is so cool to me. I've never seen a film do that before. I don't think any film has done that since. But basically, and it really goes with what this film is talking about, the X's are basically, from his perspective, that he can't look into people's faces because he just feels such a burden, and he feels that everyone is just conspiring against him. And because this film talks a lot about death as well, and I was watching a lot of reactions to this film, one person I was watching, she was saying like she loves how this film plays with sound. Me too. Like, also he was closing his ears too, so like he won't hear anything, which is perfect because the other main character, she is deaf herself. She cannot hear. So like that's what I'm saying too. This film is so good about foreshadowing and about just like showing like little details that you wouldn't think of, but if you actually look into it, it just makes so much sense, you know, especially artistically. It makes so much sense. So that's also another thing. And then there's like this party, or like the celebration of some sort, some type of festival, and basically she was just done. She really wanted to unalive herself, and he was able to catch her, but because of that, he got into a coma. But then he's alive, thankfully, you know, this main character. And then in the end, the X's come off, and then he starts to cry, and that's how the movie ends. So, and it's really, and there's been some like Soul, for example, too, where there's some films that it shows that death isn't, and this film especially, and just the way that it, and then I love this film. But it just shows that death isn't the answer. Unaliving yourself is not the answer. It's more about, what did you do in this life? What did you do to show that you've learned? It's not about, you know, death is the final resting place. It's more about, did you truly learn? Did you truly grow from your past actions? And so that's what I thought was really cool, is that he went through this coma, he was able to live again, and because of that, he was able to finally appreciate life how it is and how it should be. And that's just, like, I think as a viewer, as an artist, as a person that advocates for social justice and just appreciates like compassion and just being nice to people and, you know, just community in general. It's just so nice to see a film showing that, yes, we all make mistakes. Yes, this happens. Yes, that happened to you, but you can still grow, you can still develop, and you can still be the person that you want to be. You know, it's like, yes, everyone mourns, everyone dies, but no one truly can live a life so rich and prosperous. Like, that is truly a privilege to have. And I think to end this video, I want everyone to know, like, yes, maybe you guys are going through something difficult. Yes, maybe you guys are going through hardships, but you can do it, and you just have to keep working and keep looking to the future. So I hope you like it, and let me know what you think of this film in the comments down below. But yeah, okay, awesome, bye.